For the second straight season, the Denver Nuggets lose in the semifinals, and for the second straight season, they lose in a game seven. Last year, they were at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves. They looked like juggernauts on their way to going back to back as NBA champions. They had a 20-point lead in that game seven in their building and lost. Definitely hard loss. And then you fast forward this year, they lose KCP in the offseason. You had Bruce Brown walk after the NBA Finals when they won the championship. Those are two big pieces. You didn't have a backup center. You were relying on a guy like DeAndre Jordan and guys like Peyton Watson, Russell Westbrook, Christian Brown. I thought Westbrook for this entire playoff run was really solid. He played his role. He wasn't out of control. I know he had a couple of boneheaded plays, but it didn't really cost him games. And I thought for the most part, Westbrook was great. Then you look at Christian Brown. I thought he was really good throughout the playoffs. He was good at cutting to the basket, setting up those easy assists for Jokic. Really good defensively, knocked down his three-point shot. Peyton Watson gave them energy. Obviously, he's not the best shooter in the world. And of course, Aaron Gordon. He was phenomenal throughout these playoffs. It's too bad he had the grade 2 hamstring. He still gutted it out in game 7. They just have enough in the tank. Jamal Murray in game 7 didn't play really well. They were only down, I think it was 42-41 before OKC made that run to close out the second quarter, and it was game over after that. Not easy to deal with OKC. I think pushing the 7 games is really impressive given the circumstances that the Nuggets faced when they fired Mike Malone like 3 or 4 games before the end of the regular season. And they go on this run where I didn't have them get out of the first round. They ramped it up defensively. And I just thought, it's not easy to win the NBA. I know Jokic didn't have the best game 4. I thought losing game 4 and game 5 was the series because in game 4 they had a lead. In game 5 they had a lead, and OKC came back with their defense. I thought in game 4 when it came to the Thunder, they did enough down the stretch, but I feel like Denver also gave it away at the free throw line because they missed like 5 or 6 free throws, especially a few of them from Nikola Jokic, and that cost them the series right there. You go up 3-1 and you only have to get one game. You got a good shot to win that game 6, and it's just too bad because you would never know where Denver might be right now. But that's why you got to close out those fourth quarters. Obviously, OKC is a juggernaut. They're not easy to deal with. You can't hunt for any mismatches on defense because 1 through 5, they can guard. They bring a ton of ball pressure. They create turnovers, and they're not easy to deal with. We saw Alex Caruso just put a body on Jokic and, really bother him in game 7. So it's just a tough season for the Denver Nuggets. I don't think it's a lost season. I know, win the championship is the ultimate goal, but to see where they were at the end of the regular season, to see where they ended up, I still think it was a good, run. It's too bad they didn't make the Western Conference Finals because they might have been one of the favorites to win the championship at that point, given the adversity they had to deal with. Assuming though that Gordon would have been healthy for the NBA Finals, who knows if that would have happened. I think not having him healthy was a big loss in game 7, really swung things in OKC's favor. But I just want to look at just the performances from these guys. You look at the 3-point shooting, and Jokic was good. Jamal Murray left more to be desired, only shooting 35% from the 3, 44% from the field. Again, Aaron Gordon was great. Michael Porter Jr., I think they're going to move off of him this offseason. It's unfortunate because he's had some good playoff runs with the Nuggets, but he didn't knock down his open threes, and that was a huge swing in this series. If he had the ball, he was open, he was just bricking them 99. I know he had the shoulder injury. I understand that. But, again, they needed more from Michael Porter Jr., like 39% from the field, not good enough. 34% from 3, not good enough against OKC. I know they're going to take a lot of 3-point shots, but when you need to generate offense and get those open looks, you're not going to get a lot of them against this defense. But when you do, you got to knock down your shots. Christian Brown, I thought, again, was solid. I know he didn't shoot well from the 3, but that can still get better, in my opinion. And then I thought Westbrook, again, was solid for the playoffs. I know he didn't shoot well from the field, but if you watched him in action, he was playing within control and not causing Denver to lose games. And it's just a tough look for Denver. I think the next step for the Nuggets is get a backup center for Nikola Jokic. Because if you can get somebody for the regular season to spell him for the playoffs and also save him for a game 7, we can run him for 48 minutes. And I know Jamal Murray had that illness in game 7. When they took Murray and Jokic out and they were up 20, I think it was 26-21, OKC went on that run and it was just wraps from there. I think that was the pivotal moment. But again, if you have a backup center that you can trust, he can play throughout that series. And Jokic has a lot left in the tank for game 7. You don't have to take him out at all. So one of the biggest priorities this offseason for Denver is getting him a reliable backup center and also getting a defensive wing out there. Look, I don't think Michael Porter Jr. is a bad player. I just think Aaron Gordon can fill that role, especially since he's improved so much from shooting the long ball. I think it's important for Denver to find a guy who can guard. I think a Herb Jones would be perfect for this team. I think a Trey Murphy, he's not as good as a defender, but he's a great shooter, could come off the bench, give you some minutes, give a guy like Jamal Murray some rest. There's a lot of things that Denver can do here that I believe would benefit them going forward. Do I think it's a lost season? No, especially the adversity they had to deal with. Definitely tough though, because they looked like they were in control after game 3. And Jokic didn't play that well in game 3. Didn't play well in game 4. Game 5, he was fantastic. But credit to the Thunder. I know Williams had that, J-Dub had that big shot, that corner 3 to spread that lead out some more for the OKC Thunder, and they were clutch in those moments. So credit to them. Defensively, they were just hard to deal with, especially in game 4 and game 5. They really locked things up to take control of that series. And yes, Denver got the game 6. We saw Jordan Schroeder go off, but that wasn't going to be a consistent theme in game 7 because role players on the road don't play as well. So again, it's just a tough spot to be in if you're a Nuggets fan because you probably felt really good after game 3, especially when they had all the adversity at the end of the regular season. They turned things around. Their defense got better. They just came up short. Do I think you move off Jamal Murray? No, because I think Murray and Jokic have built up so much chemistry that I wouldn't move off that pick and roll action and the chemistry they built over these 5 years or 6 year span. I think you keep them together. I think you should move off Michael Porter Jr., find yourself a backup center, and come back next season ready to go because I think Denver's still in the thick of things. You can't just count them out. I thought at the beginning of the season they wouldn't be much of a contender. It was looking a little rough throughout the season, but they started to figure some things out. And then you thought, well, the Clippers should have the advantage. And Denver really proved, how good they are. And Aaron Gordon had another leap in him in his 3-point shooting. So you have a guy in Gordon who can shoot the ball, very versatile. I think the versatile wing in Denver. I think a guy like Herb Jones, he would be really good for that role. I can't think of anybody else right now. That's the first guy that comes to mind. So if I'm Denver going to the offseason, my 2 needs, athletic wing who can defend at the point of attack, and another backup center who can contribute. Doesn't have to be something perfect. Doesn't have to be something crazy. Just get somebody in there who can give Jokic some rest and also, bring some good minutes. And if you can give them like 10 to 12 minutes in the playoffs and you just save Jokic's legs, especially if that series goes 7, you don't have to rely on that center in a game 7. Just play Jokic the entire time. Those are just my thoughts on the Denver Nuggets. I don't think they're that far off. You make a game 7 against OKC, especially with the historical defense they've had all year. The adversity that Denver had to deal with changing their coaches, I think they'd be just fine. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts about the Denver Nuggets this season. What are your expectations going to next season with Denver? And what should they do this offseason to improve this roster? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.